just showing off my equipment. I won't say where I got it. And a bit more black pepper. Now, so that's cooking away. Just give it a stir. How's it looking up here? It's looking all right. Yeah. And I'm just going to add a bit of Himalayan rock salt as well. You love your Himalayan rock salt, yeah? And why do we love it? Because it's pink. Okay? I don't know why. What else could it be? Apparently, it's the 88 trace elements known to man. Believe it or not, the salt actually is from the glacier deposits. I'm getting all geographical now. And it's up in the Himalayas, and that's where they get the salt from. So apparently it's the purest form of salt out there, but then people in the sea salt business tend to disagree, especially in Ireland and the UK. Because what? We're waterlogged, aren't we? Now, so what I've done is I've roasted some butternut squash. Do you like your butternut squash? Now, butternut squash, you have to be careful because with kids, I wouldn't allow them now to be prepping it in the kitchen because you have to top and tail it. It's a very sturdy, strong, it's like an elephant. And you have to be very careful and treat it well because it's, it's delicate, like myself. And basically, be very careful with the knife when you're cutting the butternut squash and peel it. Obviously, don't let kids peel it again. You'd have to use a paring knife or a potato peeler. But sometimes you end up breaking the potato peelers because it's so difficult to get the peel off. So be very careful, and then obviously cut it in half, get the seeds out. You can keep your seeds and toast them. They're a good source of selenium and zinc, particularly with men. They say deficiency of zinc can lead to prostate, I would say the big C. But it's very important to keep zinc within the body for men. All right. So with the butternut squash, I've cut and cubed it, and I popped it with the coconut oil into a bowl, and just mix it with some salt and pepper, and then I added some julienne of fennel. Do you like fennel? So fennel apparently is fantastic for flatulence. That's gas.
That's bloating.
Apparently, so and fennel tea, as you know, is popular for that too. So this makes a very pretty colour. As you can see, it's very St. Patrick's Day that we just celebrated. Green, white and orange. You can also use sweet potato here if you wish. It's actually easier with kids to prep. Make sure everyone gets a bit. Just give this a quick stir. So as I said, the FuelFood Cookbook is all about one pot wonders, one wok wonders, bulk making, batch making, refrigeration and freezing, because we do live in a society now where we're just so stressed out, and that's the main thing, is people are stressed, but you really do have to remember to fuel yourselves and depend on food as well to fuel yourselves. And it's so important to remember we live in a world now, we don't know what goes on in kitchens, what they're adding. Unfortunately, sometimes it's sugar. And why would they do that? They know that there could be, it could be addictive, or they'll tend to come back, they'll order that again. So that's where the 7-day sugar detox came in with Viridian, and it's a free app that's out there at the moment. You can download it. It's a great wisdom on sugar and added sugar and hidden sugar in foods today, all sorts of food, and it's so important that you know and realise that, because it is embedded in your mind with the help of the app. So it's 7-day sugar detox. There's also an eating plan. There's lots of recipes that we adapted from the FuelFood Cookbook. Don't be shy. And lots of information there from naturopath and food scientist Ben Brown. who works with Viridian Nutrition, and myself and Kate have been travelling around the country putting on these type of shows with independent health food stores and doing about 6 recipes. And it's been very successful, and it just shows you when you make food from scratch yourselves, you can trust yourself. Once you're not adding processed or refined foods, you're just using good ingredients. Always remember that. And that balances out when you go out and have fun, go for a restaurant, go for this. That's what's balancing out that type of food. Even alcohol. Remember, alcohol has sugar in it too. In Ireland, we tend to throw that onto the rug, or the man. No, it doesn't. Alcohol doesn't have sugar. Yes, it does.
The 7-day sugar detox, sorry, that Oliver touched on, is this here. You may have seen it in one of your local health food stores. We launched this at Viridian in January. It's a 7-day kickstart program to help significantly reduce the amount of sugar that we have in our diet. And by sugar, we don't mean the natural fruits, the fruit sugars in the diet. We're talking about the white granulated sugar that is so heavily added to our processed foods these days, and why a lot of us are struggling with sugar cravings, because we're actually consuming a lot more sugar than we're realising because it's hidden in those processed foods. And unless we become really savvy at reading food labels on processed foods, we may not realise how much sugar we're actually eating. So to help kickstart the new year, or we've also promoted it as part of giving up sugar for Lent, we've offered a 7-day kit which comprises 3 things. There is an app in there, like Oliver touched on, that you can download free of charge to your smartphone or your laptop, and it encompasses loads of information about why it would be so beneficial for your health to reduce the amount of sugar you eat. And there's also a suggested 7-day eating plan provided with that. That includes 14 of Oliver's recipes, including ideas for breakfasts, snacks, lunches and dinner. And what the message is from the app is that, you know, if we really want to detoxify from sugar from our diet, we need to look at the fundamentals of what we're eating and maybe preparing our own food from scratch, so we really know what's gone in there and we can significantly cut down the amount of hidden sugars in our food. And what works alongside that is a supplement in there, 14 capsules. You take 2 capsules a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon or with your evening meal. The app cleverly prompts you to take your app in the morning and afternoon so you don't forget. And that comprises 3 ingredients. It's chromium bicolinate, alpha-lipoic acid, and a Ceylon cinnamon extract. And to summarise those for you, they all work synergistically together to balance blood sugar levels. Because as soon as we see a drop in blood sugar levels, that's when our sugar cravings will kick in. If we eat a high sugar snack, it sends our blood sugar levels sky high, and as they start to drop again, that's again when we're hit with sugar cravings. And what a lot of people will refer to as like a false appetite, our body telling us that it's hungry, when really it's not, it just wants sugar. So it's a really clever 7-day detox kit that can help you make, you know, significant changes and beneficial changes to your diet and sugar cravings moving forward.
So the results you get is like good skin, clarity, even on the waistline, lack of bloating, better digestion, and just more motivated, better sleep, etc. So we've had great feedback altogether, and we're very proud of it. And it's free. Just download the app and go from there, give it a good read. So I just added some garlic there, some crushed garlic. Always remember to crush your garlic. If it's fresh garlic or black garlic, or there was a program there just to where's the best garlic from, and it was actually from the UK and Ireland. The fresh garlic was the safest and the cleanest. So it's best if you're into your foraging, get into looking where's the fresh garlic. Just make sure it's on the dog park or something. Make sure it's out in the wild. But when you crush garlic, you release allicin. Do you know allicin? She was a bad girl. But that's the property, like curcumin, that works on the respiratory system, apparently, to keep it clean, lack of stagnancy, and just keep it flowing. Always remember that. It's also antibacterial, antiviral. And so is ginger. You could use ginger there if you wish. And ginger is the same family as turmeric. Ginger, again, anti-inflammatory. And they're great spices to use in food if you're into, especially for dinner and for kids, especially for the cold season. to get you through the winter into the spring. Yay! I also use some thyme there, yeah, fresh thyme, and that's also apparently fantastic for respiratory system and the throat. I need it today. And then we're just going to cover, do you like your Edamame beans? Yeah, you can also use petit pois if you wish. Edamame beans you can use or find in the freezer section in your local health food store. You can obviously buy them fresh in the markets, but they're great for plant protein and protein in general. Alright, this meal, as all meals in the book, have your complex carbs, your essential fats, your fibre and your protein. I don't really leave out any food groups, but if I do, I let you know with the symbols. Alright, and especially allergens as well, okay? And it just makes it look pretty. If you have friends over, the family over, the kids over, this is a good meal to serve up. And you get great brownie points.
It's looking very colourful.
It's very colourful. Now obviously if you're a meat eater or a fish eater, you could throw on your chicken or your monkfish, etc. I'm not stopping you. These recipes are just bases for whatever you want to do, a foundation. You can build it. So we're nearly there. Have you had your lunch yet? Does it smell? Can you smell anything? Smell a vision. Yeah. Just give this a quick stir. So as I said earlier, I am a comfort eater. I like my food. But unfortunately, I was telling you about my story. I lost my mom who was as I said, the inspiration in my life. And I went into a pretty dark area where I went back to eating again and eating the wrong things, unfortunately. And I just didn't know why or what. And that gave me the emphasis when someone I was doing a demo like this in a secondary school. And I got a complaint afterwards, why was someone obese giving a talk on nutrition and health, and that just obviously cut me open. But I thank that person now for getting me on the right road and as being a catalyst. So if that ever happens to you, always be thankful. And that was the realization for me. And I think the number one thing, if ever you feel you're going through the same thing, always chat, communicate and support, talk to your friends, your family, because that's the first step. The second step for me was exercise, and as I touched upon earlier, it was Zumba. I got into Zumba. Woo! See a Zumba there? And that to me, that was my new, let's say, addiction. And over about 2 years, I lost about 3 stone, and I got back to normal. And through that journey, I wrote FuelFood and started changing my life with food, basically. But it was, as I said earlier today, was my mother bringing me into the kitchen, teaching me those life skills, and they never disappeared. I'll always have that to fall back on. And that's pretty much what FuelFood is. There are recipes you can depend on in those times of despair or need. That's what it is. And that's what Viridian Nutrition, I think, saw in me with my story. And that's why we're here today. And sometimes, always remember, we're all meant to be doing what we're doing. We're all on a journey. Why are you here today? You're going to be learning so much, and take it with you and have a laugh. Is that right? Now, so we're nearly done. So as I said, I'm going to do a vegan version and a vegetarian version.
So the vegetarian one's going to have cheese, isn't it?
Yeah.
Top, that's the only difference between the two.
Just swap these. And this is where I guess I'm going to start looking like a vet. All creatures great and small.
Would you like me to grab some little Viridian cups?
No, we're actually going to bring it in the back.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to show you the toppings I'm using today. Turn this off. This is the technical part, sorry, rubber gloves. Health and safety first. So with one, let's get this right. I'm just going to top some rocket leaves. Do you like your rocket leaves? And this is where you can get the kids involved. I always say the younger the kid, the better the layering. They love to layer in colours and just have the bowls ready and off they go, and that's their bit, that's their part. And then we're going to throw on one some feta cheese, yeah. Could use Parmesan cheese here if you wish. Then we're going to add some pine nuts, like your pine nuts, toasted pine nuts, good source of protein. You could use cashews here as well if you wish, they're cheaper. Pine nuts have gone through the roof. Always remember when your food prices go up, there's either a blight, a really hot summer, or something called maybe sometimes paleo have taken over a movement. You know, the nuts have gone through the roof, haven't they? Nutaholics, they're nuts. It's interesting the way food and price comes together with demand sometimes. And then it's funny sometimes, let's say with quinoa, people aren't sure if it's a seed or a grain, and it's a seed. So and then prices come down when they're not sure. What's that called? The fear factor? And there shouldn't be any fear with food, okay? Always enjoy your food. For mental health, it's very important. I'm in the independent health food store trade, and we see a lot of people coming in kind of terrified, and you just want to give them a hug. It's okay. There are allergies out there, but when you, obviously, the way I see an allergy sometimes is it's usually too much of one thing if you go for a blood test. So for me, it would be usually wheat, dairy comes up, even yeast, if you're wine drinkers. And then there's something called an elimination diet, which some of you may have done. And you tend to be okay afterwards once you cut it out. But the underlying one is sugar. We have to be careful of. So how would you know if you have a sugar crave or addiction? I'd say if you're sluggish, you're run down, not motivated.
What, even energy levels?
Energy levels. You might have a rash on the skin. So just be aware. The body always tells the sign is honest with when you have an allergy or sensitivity with food. So I'm just trying on some chopped basil and mint, and then we're pretty much done, I think. There was a food shortage of basil in this area last night. I think all the chefs are using basil. And basil is probably going to be the next big thing, by the way, because there's none in this area. I was out, I had to go to Zero Sete. I have to say a special thank you to them, the Italian restaurant, and they gave me some basil. And I went down to the local shops this morning, and there was none. So there's something going on. So watch out for the basil, it's going to dazzle.
Next new superfood.
Now, so I think that's everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to plate up. Terry, would you give me a hand? So we have the vegan version, here. So that's going to be in there's a Select Stores cup coming out. The vegetarian will be in the Viridian cups, just to differentiate if there's vegan vegetarians here today. Did we touch upon everything?
Yeah, just if you want nut allergies, because there is pine nuts in there, isn't there?
Yeah, it's right, nut allergies. No, we're okay. And it's gluten-free, it's sugar-free, and there's one vegan, one vegetarian. So it shows you how easy it is. And is there anything else you wanted to say?
Is there any questions about anything we presented today on the supplement side or the recipes that Oliver's done?
You're all okay? You just want the food. I'm hungry.
Lunchtime.
It's lunchtime.
Any questions from anyone?
Jay,
any questions at all?
Give me a sec.
No, just the food. Okay.
I think there's a lady here. Can we have a lady?
Oh, no, see? Look, just about the food, is it?
It's hot either.
I just wanted to find out the FuelFood Cookbook. Does that include any sort of sweet dishes, cakes with sugar alternatives?
Yeah, there's a lot of snack foods, flapjacks, there's chia seed pudding, cakes, gluten-free cakes. If I